All right. Just doing a quick test. I'm gonna get my links out real quick. But we're starting. Starting soon. Let's see here. I'm gonna go I gotta post some links on my Blue Sky and on my Twitter. I refuse to call it X. It is Twitter. That is what that is. Make sure my
As
audio
shitty
works.
as it sounds.
Yep, that works on Twitch. Awesome. Uh-oh. I'm pretty sure my audio works on YouTube too, so I'm not gonna bother with it. But where's my stream 3? Well, whatever. Okay. That's done for that tag. I'm not gonna tag meme. That should be fine. All these labels. Alrighty. So that's Twitter. Oh wait, no, that's Blue Sky. Okay. Awesome. I understand this is taking a little bit, and I apologize for the wait. I'm gonna get this done pretty soon. I'm gonna put this in this channel. Okay, that's one. Post this here. Okay. I'll post that there, and that should be good for now. Alrighty. We already confirmed that my Twitch works, so we're good on that end. What about YouTube? We already confirmed that my Twitch. Yep, YouTube works. All right, so we're good to start then. Hello, everyone. We just make sure I'm on the right page here. Yep. Okay. Hello, everyone, to episode 3. We're drawing Repulsive Pokemon. This is a series that I've started where I spin this wheel and whatever Pokemon that it lands on, I draw the entire evolutionary line on. I've talked about Eevee before. If I ever end up with an evolution or Eevee in general, I'm probably just gonna put it off and gonna turn that into a group effort the very next stream, in which I'll just spin it again. But on this wheel, we have for this, I think for the exception of 6 of them, we have all 1,025 numbers in the Pokedex, and whatever this lands on, we're gonna draw. So without further ado, because I know I've held you guys on for too long, let's spin the wheel, shall we? In 3, 2, 1. Number 526. I don't know what Pokemon that is, but we're about to find out. Give me but a moment. Hello, Insider Unknown. I see you in the chat there. I'm looking up on Google real quick. What's 526? Oh, this is an interesting one. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Have that, and it is Gigalith. We're going to be drawing a lot of rocks today. It's funny because I think for the past, like, all of my streams, I think every single one of them hasn't been like an actual living entity. It's all been either food or like a rock. That's fine though. I like it. Alrighty. So let's open up my stream here. Put this 4,000 by 4,000 for my canvas. I like to make super big drawings. I prefer raster instead of vector. Vector's got its positives too. The only difference between that is like a math equation and pixel. But let's see here. Put on my Whack'em. Who's my favorite Pokemon? That'd be Smeargle. I know it's kind of underwhelming, but I don't like Pokemon for the competitive stuff. I just like them for the designs, really. Maybe if I was like 10, I'd probably give you an answer like Lucario or something. Lucario is pretty solid. What about yours? What's your favorite Insider? You got a favorite Pokemon? Bulbasaur. That's pretty solid. That is number 1. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna pull up a reference real quick on my art software here so that way I can work off of it. But we're gonna start with Roggenrola. I believe is its first one. I'm gonna see if I could just find the whole evolutionary line as like a reference point that I can just pick colors from. Let's see here. Yeah, that's pretty solid. I'll go with this reference, I guess. Copy image. And there we go. These guys are going to be the thing that I look at the most. Probably going to dart between them quite a bit. Now we can finally get started on the art. Pebbles, stone, and rock. Yes. The best kind. There's also boulder, but we don't mention them. Hey, what is this? Why is that off the I have it on the wrong color. I draw a lot of thick line work, so I'm gonna put this at like 15. So let's just, I'm trying to figure out how to dissect this design real quick. So I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be like an ear or something, according to Pokemon lore. This is how it kind of gets around. It listens to things. So I'm gonna kind of build off of that design, and we're gonna make an ear, very geometric one. But this is how it's gonna kind of move around and know what's going on around it. I'm trying to draw this in a 3D space. Okay. Rock type has kind of been my favorite for a while. It gets, I feel like it got done real dirty though. A lot, it's weak to a lot of things, but it's also kind of strong. Bring that down. I had to pull up a second reference. Because I'm not just making this a regular ear, this is going to be a human ear. Or at least a rocky version of it. That should be cursed and fun. Yeah, the paper Pokemon just keep owning all the rock Pokemon. I don't know why that is. There we go. It helps to have something to reference while you're drawing for anatomical correctness, I guess. This will give it a sense of scale. Bring this down towards the bottom here. I'm just kind of trying to get the basic shape, really. Okay. And then it kind of gets concaved in here a little bit. You know, this just kind of make me wonder a little bit. Does Gigalith also have weird eye, like ears? Are those ears that are in its face right there? I feel like those could be ears. None of these Pokemon really see. They're just kind of like, they figure things out. This is going to be a very geometric ear. And then behind here is where the ear canal starts. But I'm just gonna give the hint that it gets more deeper into the ear. Yeah, I think the character design they were going for Gigalith's eyes, or that for his ears, is that they do look like eyes. Kind of starts off as a singular ear, and then it gets like, yeah. We don't need this no more. I'm gonna change the perspective on this. We're gonna there we go. That lines up more with what its eye actually looks like. Maybe this way a little bit. And then this thing is literally just a rock, so I'm gonna try to make this as visually interesting as I can. Because rocks are cool and all, but don't necessarily have a lot you can play around with. I'm gonna have to get real creative. Maybe I can make it like, what's a goofy looking rock? I can mess around with. I know, I think I'm probably gonna turn the second evolution into something like a Cybertruck. Because God knows that's cursed. Maybe that is the direction I could take it. Yeah, rocks can be goofy. I can make Roggenrola like a weird hybrid catalytic converter or something. Yeah, we could just tape googly eyes to it and make it like a pet rock. That'd be fun. Add some of those right here. Maybe I could do something like Sloth from the Goonies, where it's like one side of it's high up, but the other side's just slightly lower. Yeah, like that. Yeah. The Goonies is a great movie. You know what I didn't realize? One of the actors, like one of the child actors from that movie, was actually in the Kung Fu Panda movie voicing a character recently. But the new one that came out with the furry fox in it. Alright. So I think his character was like a pangolin that could like climb things and roll around. Now, Roggenrola has the very unfortunate character design choice of this weird knob that comes out of the top of its head. And I know Twitch, I have an idea of what I want to do with it. And I think you know what I want to do with it. Okay, spoon works. We can make it a spoon. Um just I was getting to the point where you know, I felt the call of the void. I knew something it had to be done, but I didn't know if Twitch would be okay with it. And I don't think it will. I like your idea of a spoon, but I don't know. All right, so I'm just gonna come out with it. My initial idea was to put a giant dick on the top of him, but I don't know. I don't think that would be very conducive to growing my career. Huh. Let's see. Yeah, okay. That wouldn't be the only thing growing, huh? I'm really playing with fire right now. Alright. Yeah, unfortunately I have that word blocked. I went through and I did the whole script thing, but of like things that can and can't be said in chat because I don't have any mods yet. But I don't think I'm going to draw that. I'm not gonna make this highly detailed enough that people could figure out what it is. But no, yeah, that's enough. That's enough detail. That's fine. No one no one will know the difference. You could just say it's like a Pope hat. Or like a cardinal. He's Christian. Oh man. If only I wasn't streaming on like YouTube and Twitch. I could go so crazy with this, but I really have to hold myself back. Hmm. I gotta think about what I want to do for its legs. I still haven't drawn the back half of its body. If I give it like a massive dumpy, I might do that. Roggenrola Aunt Fanny. Yeah, free will is good. But not when you're trying to like grow a Twitch and YouTube channel. You can have some fun, crazy ideas, but you know, at the end of the day, you gotta be careful. Be very, very careful because those ideas can get out of hand very quickly. Hmm. Okay. At some point today, I think I might also be. I could probably plug this. One of my friends is doing a friend lock for a Pokemon game. I think it's Pokemon Emerald, and I'm gonna be in there. I don't know at what point I'll show up, but Laertive, that is her channel. Probably find a lot of. I don't know when it's starting. I have yet to hear from it. Oh, actually, I think I just got a message about it. Hold on. What's it say? Okay. Yeah, it's still happening. Wait, hold on. All right, 3 PST, I believe. So that I think that's 5. So like 2 or so hours from now, I think we're gonna be starting that. I could crack this down 2 hours. We could do that. Alrighty. Yeah, this rock and roll is gonna be pretty. You know what? I'm trying to think of what we could do story wise with this rock and roll. I think this rock and roll was a pet rock that got overfed. So he's really, really chunky. I'm trying to make sure geometrically it makes sense because I as a 3D artist I try to keep in mind like dimensions and sizes, things like that. Got to be consistent, but it also can't be excessive. At some points I might like get rid of some lines, but like keep the idea of them. Just in an effort to make it seem a bit more cleaner and nice. Like right here, I might do that. Rock Pokemon are very, very hard to draw cursed, I tell you. I'm gonna try it. I'm not giving up yet, but I got my work cut out for me. I've never been in a friend lock before, so I'm really excited for when that happens. Tiny little pebble feet. Yeah, it does kind. I think that's a better headcanon for it. It's like a failed sculpt, like something a child would throw together in like an art class. I still remember. I was like, oh, that actually does remind me. There was like a Halloween thing I did in elementary school, like forever ago at this point, but we still have it. It's I might try to recreate it just in drawing here real quick just to show you what I'm talking about. But I remember the project was essentially to make a bowl like thing and then decorate it like a Halloween monster. And I got a vampire. So I ended up drawing something that looked like or like sculpting out of clay something that looked like this. It was like this is pretty accurate to what it used to look like. If I could find a picture of it, I might post it on my Blue Sky or something. But yeah, it was like this potato looking thing, and it had like a cape behind it like this, and then hands that came out like. Oh God. Yeah, but this is kind of what it looked like. And then on the bottom, I had like boots that came out. It was like And that's what it looked like. It had like a tongue that came up too. Yeah, imagine your child comes home with this freaking vampire thing one day. That's pretty on point. All right, back to rock and roll. Absolutely. I don't know where I saw it, but I remember reading another story about like a kid's crafting project gone wrong. And I think it was some poor girl who made this mannequin for as like a prop for a thing. And I think she saran wrapped her body to like do it. So it ended up being true to like her proportions and stuff, but it was like this weird translucent thing that she swore became like a cursed pulpa after a while. All right, add some like sparse design choices here. I kind of want to have like angry eyes on it. I'm gonna be real with you. If I was stuck in this situation, I'd probably also have angry eyes. Hey, Insider, I got a question. If you got isekai'd into the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon universe, which Pokemon you think you'd end up with? Would it still be Bulbasaur? Some people have different answers for what Pokemon they'd be versus what they think or like what their favorites are. So I figured I'd ask. "100% Bulbasaur." A big fan of Sylveon. That's good. That's pretty solid. I like that. I think Sylveon's probably the best choice, really, because you can like open doors. Other other evolutions can't necessarily do that. They don't have the manual dexterity. I think if I ended up in the Pokemon universe, I'd probably be an Aggron. I like Smeargle, but my body type really leans towards like a really beefy steel type. That'd probably be like an Aggron or an Aeron or something. Thanks. I don't think it would be my choice though. Arceus has different ideas as to what we all could be. Hell, for all I know, I could be a Snorlax. God, I pity the poor bastard that would get, isekai'd into a Snorlax. I mean, it's a pretty solid, strong Pokemon, but like, yeah, maybe there are people that would like being Snorlax just because you get that, you get to be lazy all the time. Be fine. I'm gonna crack open an unnamed beverage, have some, and enjoy it. Delicious. This is ginger ale, I will say, but I won't tell you the brand. Trying to make it this body kind of porous, like pudding stone or pumice. Yeah. No, there's multiple. There's different ones. I gotta stop zooming in and out on this. I think I finished the what do you mean only one that matters? Okay, what brand would that be? We're gonna move on to drawing the other one. There's more, and I'm not drinking Schweppes. Schweppes is good. I'm not gonna say it's not, but I don't think it's like the only one. If they ever came out, okay, you know what, I'm let's talk about soda flavors. Canada Dry Cranberry is pretty good. I like that. We had some of that recently. You miss soda? What happened to soda? Did you do something to soda that made soda not want to talk to you anymore? Oh. Oh, I gotcha. All right. What did I say I was gonna do for the second evolution? I was gonna make a Cybertruck, right? Yep. Cybertruck. So what do these ugly things look like again? I think it's like it goes down like that. Dang it. They are awful and they're made by an awful person. I still remember someone we had this elongated muskrat stand living in my hometown for a while. And I live in the Northeast where it gets really, really cold and snowy and bad on the roads. And these cars are not built for that. And he was fighting the whole time. He's like, this he's gonna do so much. He's gonna put us on Mars. I support him fully and entirely. And he was just kind of like harassing people in the public and stuff. We were like, you know what? Screw this guy. Fuck it. And we were telling him all the whole time, hey, you shouldn't get this. This is a bad idea. Um, but he ended up buying one anyway, and then this like nor'easter hits, and he pulls it into his driveway, and it doesn't start back up again. He ended up like having to call AAA and everything for it, and he gets it, and they take it away, and the whole time people are like, laughing at him in his neighborhood. He's like so mad about it, but he he gets it back. They diagnosed and they fixed it. I don't know where he got that like checked out, but you know, they got it, they diagnosed it, and they apparently fixed it. They brought it back. And when they dropped it back off in his driveway, he goes to start it up and it doesn't fucking start again. Oh man. All right, I had to pull up a reference of what they look like, and I was not far off. The only difference is, you know what? Bucket line tool. There we go. Yep. Battlestar Galactica looking ass car. Yeah, serves him right. I have to keep in mind, I'm not going to be drawing a Cybertruck in its entirety. I'm just using this as an as like a Roggen, or whatever the second evolution's name is. It's like Bulldor. What does Bulldor look like? Is it Bulldor? I don't think it's Bulldor. What? Oh no, shit. No, 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 no. No, stop it. Okay, we're. I really hope that doesn't get my stream demonetized. I forgot that I had voice mod open. Oh no. I'm gonna make sure that's like completely closed. I hope that didn't show up on stream. Did it show up on stream? Oh no. Alright. You know, it's in a lot of memes. I think we should be fine. I was playing Repo earlier and messing around with the soundboard. What's the next evolution? Roggenrola evolution. Okay, let's. Okay. Roggenrola evolves into. Yeah, I was right. It's Bulldor. Alright. This guy's name is Bulldor. I think it's cursed enough. Just the fact that I designed it to be shaped like a Cybertruck. I'm trying not to be super lazy with these. I actually want to make them like actually, you know, cursed. There's only so much you can do with a rock. I think Bulldor has this like nose piece right here. Oh, it's actually longer. So it goes up like this. It's like Mundi's forehead from Star Wars. Charlie Brown? How am I Charlie Brown? Oh, you got a rock for Halloween? Yeah. Yeah, good one. This is eyeball. Yeah, that looks about right. And it's just got the four like yeah, a little bit. Let's see if I can draw one of those from memory. I think it's like I know I'm definitely wrong, but that's what it feels like in my mind. Hold on. Yep, I was wrong. It's more like this. I drew like the Rick and Morty version of it. That's awful. All right, I gotta stop getting distracted. I gotta finish this gross ass Cybertruck Baldor. Got this like tooth that comes down like that. Yeah, a little bit. Night at Museum, I could see it. That actually takes me back. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Night at the Museum. That was the second movie I saw that had Owen Wilson in it. The first one was Cars. Wow, Gigantor, wow. Yeah, Cars was like amazing for its time. I couldn't really be a proper judge of it back then because I was like 5 when it came out. No, I wasn't even 5. I think I was 4. It was 2005, I believe. Cars came out. You correct me if I'm wrong, but no, yeah, when that came out, I was like enamored by it. Being a little kid. I also thought Larry the Cable Guy's voice was funny. Oh, you know what would have been a great one? Oh wait, hold on. I just made a costume for Halloween based on Lightning. Hey, that's pretty cool. Lightning McQueen's great. No, I should have saved the Cybertruck for the Rock and Rolla, or no, for the Reveroom. A new one that looks like a car. Instead of the Cybertruck for the Bulldor. You know what? I think I might just make that a Ford Pinto Cruiser. You know, the car that's famous for spontaneous combustion. Or I can make it a Yugo. You know, that's a question. Yeah. Stream question. What car would you be in the Cars universe? That's goofy and out there. I like it. Trying to think about which one I'd be. This is a tough one. I think there's multiple different like vehicles. So let's not strict it like entirely to cars. I think you can be like planes and stuff too if you wanted to. Yeah, Volkswagen Beetle. That's a pretty good one. I think I asked that question once before to a couple friends, and one of them said a PT Cruiser, and I felt so bad. Those cars are not the best. I think if I lived in the Cars universe, uh, as a car, I'd probably be maybe a Ford Ranger. Either a Ford Ranger or like a Hyundai. I'd be like a redneck car for sure. I'd have like, messed up suspension and all kinds of things like that. Be like a Ram delivery van. If I could pick the vehicle though, I'd probably be a instead of a car, I'd probably be like a Condor plane or something like that. Those are pretty cool. I think it's pretty true to shape. All right, gotta add the screen in real quick, just so they know it. I think the shape is just generally gonna give it away, but in case it doesn't, we're gonna put this little window thing here. Cybertruck. What do they look like? I got away my reference. I put the I'll trip it over my words. I put the reference away. So I have to open it again. And thereby expose myself to more of this disgusting machine. It really does look like a background prop in a sci-fi movie from like the 90s. See this in the background of like, I don't know, like Total Recall or Blade Runner or something. I don't know who thought it was a good idea. It looks not the prettiest looking thing. We all know the muskrat would be one of these. No if, ands, or buts. Muskrat's a Cybertruck. And then I'm just gonna give the hint of it in the back. This is gonna be fun to color in. Shiny and chromatic. I'm gonna add the pores like I did with the other one. I like drawing these little circles on them for stones. They don't all necessarily need them, but it just kind of adds to the effect. Yeah. Oh no, I don't put them on the crystals. I'm just gonna put them on the rock parts. Here's a question. Pokemon games. Which Pokemon game, or like what spin-off series, or any of them, just in general, do you think you'd be in, like exist in? Because there's like Mystery Dungeon, there's Ranger, there's Conquest, all that stuff. So you have like free range. I think just to make these things look like nostrils, I'm gonna add the googly eyes on this evolution too. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Understandable. I used to be a big Pokemon fan, but I'm not really a fan of the things that the company behind Pokemon is doing nowadays. Alrighty. That's Boldor. Oh, I drew it on the same layer. I didn't mean to do that. Ah, whatever. Easy fix. Get rid of. Oh, that's not the right one. And delete. Nice. They're separate now. That. I don't know what layer that is. I really like the mystery dungeon settings of Pokemon. If you ever were to play Pokemon again, I would recommend the mystery dungeon. Mainline games are pretty interesting up to a certain point, but mystery dungeon I think has the best music out of all of them, and I'm really a big fan of music. I got to be careful about what I can play on stream though, so I won't play any. But I'll give you the name of one of them though. I don't think that'll be a problem. In Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, I think Gates to Infinity. There's a song theme for a level called I think Ragged Mountain, and that was my like ringtone for a long time. All right. Anywho, now it's time for the big guy. I don't know what to do here. Yeah, the I'd still say the soundtracks for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon are like some of the best I think I've seen in many games. It's old and some of them sound not too good nowadays, but like in comparison to other like productions. But I will say like wholeheartedly I really do enjoy Mystery Dungeon stuff. You actually see it on some other streams. People will use it sometimes. I'm trying to read this design a bit, see what I can do with it. Right off the top of my head, I'm thinking pyramid, but I don't think it'd be super interesting to do that. It's got a lot of spikes and stuff coming out of it. This Pokemon does look like it would fold up to become a pyramid. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna try it. So, Gigalith can have kind of like a cone head thing going on with it. Let's see here. So aside from Pokemon, and I know that the streams fit based on Pokemon, what kind of games do you enjoy? Just engaging, talking to you. Hell yeah. Repo's pretty solid. I think in recent years, I think Repo is one of the best designed games to have been like actually released. It's simple, it's to the point, and then anything else just kind of builds off of its main concept. You know? It's got a lot of replayability because of it. I gotta say, Lego games as well are like some of my favorites from childhood. I had, oh yeah, the mods are definitely fun. I think someone made like a Goku mod or something like that. I've yet to play it, but I remember my friends talking to me about like going up against Goku in a public lobby, like a monster. I haven't played Animal Crossing as much though. My sister played Animal Crossing for a bit. She likes some of the characters in that series. I think I'm trying to think about like I did play Animal Crossing, or I tried to. I remember when I was like 10. I think New Leaf came out. Wait, hold on. When did New Leaf come out? It was Animal Crossing New Leaf. Oh, I wasn't 10. I was 11. It came out in 2012. So I played a little bit of that, but I think I remember being kind of aggravated because there's this one mole character in there that would get mad at you if you didn't like save your game. And I don't know, little me just got real pissed off about that. Yeah, Rossetti. That was his name. I didn't like being pressured into doing anything as a kid, so I just kind of like, this guy would come on screen and I'd be like, fuck you. I want to do my thing. I want to design shirts. You don't see a lot of anymore the My Sims games. I think I had like Skyforce on the Wii. I played the hell out of that. That was a fun part of my childhood. Yeah, that airplane one was really fun. You could unlock parts and stuff and make your planes like super powerful. I think we still have it in my house somewhere, but I don't. I'd have to go looking for it. It was a pretty fun party game. You could like dogfight. This drawing kind of reminds me of that one like 2015 era where they made like stupid memes like Obamium, things like that. You know what I'm talking about, right? They take like a politician's face and then just graft it to like a weird geometric shape. I remember in high school we had like a science presentation. You don't? You know what? That's probably for the best. Yeah, there was this whole I think 2015 and 2014 were this was this big era of like MLG stuff, like 420 memes. Everything was like deep fried and like ironic. But I had a it was like stupid what was it? It was like just dumb memes like that where it was like MLG Pro gamer, like things like that. I think Snoop Dogg was like a on there for a while. It was like back in high school. Talking about I was talking about Obamium, wasn't I? Yeah, someone took this like I'll just draw it really quickly for you, but they essentially took Obama's face and they just like UV unwrapped it onto a pyramid. So it like had weird proportions. And then they'd rotate it around and they just called it Obamium. But they had like the front part of his face on this side, so it was like they had like his hairline up here. And then on the side of the triangle you saw his ear like right here. It was just something stupid like that. Yeah. If you Google Obamium, you could probably find it. Yeah, but this Gigalith reminds me of Obamium. My neighbor's doing the lawn. It's a very inopportune time. I apologize for any extra noise that may come through. I think I have a noise gate up, so you might not be able to hear it. But in the event that you do, I'm sorry. I really like memes. I also like curse stuff. You know what? That's something I could talk about. Cursed things. Uh, so I know a lot of people compare my style to Meat Canyon on occasion because I'll draw like really highly detailed stuff. I don't have anything super crazy in this one because there's not much to do with a rock person. But I draw cursed stuff alongside my like more serious stuff, and people compare it to Meat Canyon. But I was actually doing this before Meat Canyon became popular. I've always, whenever I find a new piece of media to like practice with or like mess around with, like Blender or just any software you can like create things, I always make the most like horrifying monster people known to man just for practice. And I was making stupid stuff like MS Paint. Oh, this is a fun story. I took a programming class in high school, but I was failing it like miserably because I didn't have internet access when I was growing up. The only like the closest thing that I had was a library with public Wi-Fi, and I only had access to it for maybe like 2 hours at most. But yeah, I remember there was a situation where I had to get like a couple programming things done as homework, and I just couldn't do it. And it got to the point where it was like I was not going to pass this class. I'm not going to do anything like remotely close to what I was supposed to do. So I just decided to use that time to make horrible MS Paint art and then just like anonymously email it to a bunch of other students in the school. So I'd draw like weird people, like something like this, and it's just like got like feet, and then I'd draw like Bobby Hill's face on it or something. No, I used to be able to draw Bobby Hill's face really interesting. Like, and just random people in the school would get something like that. And I'd put like a small caption below it. But I kept emailing this one kid who was in my grade. His name was Aiden. Not Aiden, Aiden. And he used to bully me. I mean, rightfully so if I was doing this shit. But yeah, he used to bully me a lot. So the way that I'd mess with him is I'd just make a bunch of this weird art and then I'd send it to his school email, and everyone kind of monitors what happens in your school email. So I'd make it and phrase it like it was pretty sketchy. I don't know why like the school could do that, but it could. So I used to phrase it like, "Here, this is the art you asked for. Here you go." And he never asked for it, but whenever the principal or like IT was notified that this got sent, it really incriminated him to think he was like looking at weird stuff online while he was supposed to be doing schoolwork, so he got in trouble for it. And every time he bothered me after that, I still did it. And I think on my at senior year when we were just about to graduate, I finally came clean. And at that point, all the damage had already been done. So he just kind of was like, "Okay," walked away. But yeah, I was a little shithead. I did stupid stuff like that. Mm. All right, now for the final touches. I got better with time though. I think I did. I had one moment of like I had an epiphany that I was like, I'm really stupid and I needed to change. And I cringe about this to this day. I was in college when I feel like I finally became more self-aware of my behavior because I was going to a Comic-Con with a couple of my friends, and you know, I didn't realize it, but I kind of third wheeled myself because they were initially going to go, and I was like, "Oh, I can do it. I'll buy tickets." I did, and when I got to the convention, I thought it'd be funny, or I didn't think it would be funny. I don't know what was going through my head. I was dumb as rocks, but I decided to approach a like a drug dog that they had at the convention to smell if anyone was doing drugs. And as I was getting close, you know, the cop that was next to the dog looked at me like, "I'm gonna kill you" kind of look. And the cop reached for his belt like he was gonna pull out a gun. And I just kind of took a step back with my hands up. I was like, "Whoa, whoa." And thinking back on it right now, that was really fucking stupid of me. Something bad could have happened very, very easily had I continued on that course. I remember just kind of thinking to myself, I was dressed up as a frickin' Naruto ninja with a mask over my face, approaching a dog and a cop out of nowhere. You know, that's bad. That's really fucking bad. But ever since then, I feel like it's kind of like made me more self-conscious about my behavior in public in general. And it's really for the best that I kind of had that experience when I did, because it made me kind of self-reflect on that. And I feel like I'm a better person as a result. But yeah, that was kind of like a defining moment for me. Now we're gonna color all these. So you are gonna get your own layer. So do that. This is getting its own layer, and this is getting. First off, this is the one I initially got, so we're gonna color you in first. Oh, okay, no worries. Thanks for joining me, Insider. I look forward to hanging out with y'all in the future. Yeah, thanks. They're not as cursed as they could be, but yeah. Have a good one. Take it easy. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna do a thing where I color a certain way. This is I do this thing where I like I'll select everything outside of it, and then I'll invert the selection, and then I'll use the gradient thing to color the whole thing in like that. It's quick, easy, it's fun. Done. Don't have to worry about anything after that. Yep. So I gotta draw the red around his eyes. Actually, you know, I'm gonna draw the red of his gems first. Just because that's like the secondary most important color. There we go. We're almost done with Gigalith and the Roggenrola line. I'm very happy I ended up with a Gen 5 Pokemon this time around because I really like Gen 5. It's like, I think my most favorite one. It introduced the most Pokemon to the universe. It was the last time that Pokemon actually made a 2D sort of semi 2D 3D game. That style of game, I guess. The last time Pokemon did that. Because afterwards they just started going in this like entirely 3D open world kind of thing. I feel like if they had gone the route of Octopath Traveler, the games would have been a lot more like interesting, remembered. Now I don't play like any of them because I don't like Nintendo and the way that they're treating indie gaming and things like that. That's its own argument. So we're gonna shelve that one for now. Gigalith is gonna move up there, and now we're gonna color in The Cybertruck. Oh, good God. Alright, so we're gonna get rid of this. Make sure it's all enclosed. Oh, let's talk. Oh no, it's not enclosed. I need to close it. If your lines aren't enclosed properly, you end up in a situation where it all just kind of bleeds in. Don't want that. Bad. I take a sip of my unnamed ginger ale. Delicioso. Hmm. Okay. Gonna invert selection on this. Awesome. I think that's, yeah, that's everything. And then we're just gonna do the same thing as last time. Saves me a lot of time and struggle by doing this. Doing that. Oh, that was weird. Cybertruck Boldor is pretty cursed. This is a Pokemon full of nothing but hatred. Oh, whoops. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, something about this Pokemon just says, like, Father, why did you make me this way? How could you? Uh, there we go. That's Boldor all colored in. Now it's time for Roggenrola, the first. The cursed one. This apparently has a lot of holes in it. We're gonna close them up. Up here. That's open. Don't like that. That's closed enough. That's also closed. That'll be a problem. All right. Oh, wait. Blood through there. Now let's try it. Nice. I think that did it. Select invert selection. Now we add the gradient. The right layer. There we go. Roggenrola has colors that are different from the original. Roggenrola's got this like brown. Add some eyeball gray. What a funny looking guy. Rock and roll is awesome. Nice. And just like that, I believe we have everything all drawn. Close that. Close that. Close that. And now we rearrange them. This is going to go behind these two. This is going to go down here. We're going to increase the size. Then we're going to flip it. Nice. Then finally, big boy. Right on top. And that kind of naturally makes a pyramid shape. Just a little bit. All right. Without further ado, let's add my little watermark to it, and we should be good. I'm going to put it up in the corner here. Normally I pick a bottom corner, but they're all kind of occupied. So up here we go. And this will be there, and then we'll add another layer and charcoal. There we go. Nice. It's got that creeping darkness I like. Because I'm a demon. All right. Now we're going to write down the numbers. So Rock and Rolla is number 524. He's 524. 525. And 526. The one that we rolled. Nice. Now, without further ado, export. I'm going to save this. I have a special folder for all of these. If I can find out where I left it. Oh, there it is. So this one is going to be called Five 526. I'm also going to save it as nice. And with that, we have reached the end of the stream. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like my stuff, make sure to follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter, X, as it is now known, which I don't agree with. Yeah, follow me both on there. I like to post all my cursed art there. I also post some other stuff like goofy little animations or things that I think of at the time. And I'm hoping to do this series every Saturday around noonish. Sometimes I might not be able to make that time. If so, I'll let you guys know. And you can also follow me on YouTube. I have all my streams uploaded on YouTube and backlog. So, thank you for watching. If you're seeing this on YouTube, give me a like and a subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And if you're following me on Twitch, hey, give me a follow. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.